or as close to it as we can get. So sit back, relax, and chill out. And tell your friends about us too. And with that, surprise, I'm reading the disclaimer. I have to do that because if I don't do the disclaimer, then we have problems. Hey, welcome to my world. How's your world been so far this week? Well, guess what? This weekend is going to be something else. I've been looking at the weather reports for Southern Ohio and Kentucky, Tennessee, and so forth. Big storms are coming our way. So are you prepared? I'll tell you what, you want to really be prepared. And guess what? Get your GMRS radios. This happens to be a Baofeng. Yeah, a new one. And it's a nice one. It's a mini. And I've got all the channels I need on there. And of course, I have my trusty Ocean 935G Plus. And it is a sweetheart. I love this radio. With this radio, I can get out 35 miles. And I can talk to a repeater in Dayton, Ohio, and get out about 90 miles beyond that. And that's pretty good. $35 for a FCC license. Can you believe that? 35 bucks? And it's good for 10 years and it covers the whole family. You can't beat it. But prepare for storms. Make sure you have that heat in your gasoline tank in your car. Make sure you have plenty of food. Make sure you're prepped with water and all that kind of good stuff. Okay. Make sure the snowblower's got gasoline, all kinds of stuff. We have to prepare for that kind of stuff. I'm telling you, from what I've heard, the southern part of the United States is really going to be in for an ice storm. So you have to watch out for that. Tonight, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I've got two guests that will be coming on pretty soon. And we're going to talk about artificial intelligence. And we're going to talk about data centers. And I'm going to have Rascala Stefan. He's going to be on tonight. I'm also going to have my good friend Val, and she will be on tonight. And we are all going to be talking about that. And I'll tell you what, this stuff it's mind-boggling as to what it can do. And I thought it's a good topic. And, if we have a lot of support for it, we'll go ahead and do a part 2, depending on what we can get through tonight. So, we'll see what we can do here. Well, anyhow, guys, we always have to do a big shout out, and I have to get the stuff up on the screen because if I don't, I think somebody's going to be yelling down my throat, hey, you forgot to mention so-and-so. So I'm going to do that. Well, anyhow, we always mention Trim Radio Network, right? Trimradio.com. Here's the Brain Trust. We've got 4 people. We've got Michael Bayhas. He's the founder and CEO. We've got Rascala Stefan. He is the chief operating officer and computer guru. And then we've got me, and I guess I'm the chief relationship officer, and I still haven't figured that one out yet. I guess I'm supposed to make people happy, I guess. I don't know. And then we have Victoria Smith, and she's the chief marketing officer. And she's responsible for marketing activities and brand development and audience growth and all that kind of good stuff. And she has her own marketing show on the Trim Radio Network, better known as trim.com, trimradio.com. And I'll tell you what, you got to check out that show. If you have a club or an organization, fraternity, sorority, whatever, and you need marketing help, get a hold of Victoria Smith. She knows what she's doing. She's good at it too. Has very good recommendations of all kinds of stuff. Get a hold of Victoria, okay? So much for the Brain Trust. I guess it's Brain Trust. Well, anyhow, we got to talk about our shows. We've got Money and Change every Sunday at 7 p.m. And we have Life Walk with Christ God with Michael Bayhas, and that's going to be Wednesday at 7 p.m. We have My World, Live, Laugh, and Whatever, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. We have the Natural Marketer podcast on Thursdays. Check out Victoria's show. We have Offsides College Football Top 25 with Michael Bayhas and company. We have the Positude podcast on Fridays at 8 p.m. We have Adventure Awaits Around the Bend with, I don't know who does that show, but I do know it's a good one. We also have Ranch It Up with Tigger and Beck, and that's going to be Saturday at 1:30. And then we have Riscala's Red Pill reality show, and he's on from 9 until midnight. And I have listened to that show, and sometimes I call into the show, all kinds of stuff. He has some really good guests, and I'll tell you, it's a fantastic show. So you have to listen to that Saturday night from 9 until midnight. Now, what happens if you miss one of our shows? It's very simple. We have archives, and you can go to the archives and listen to other shows. So we have those going. We have Revelation with Peter Kling. That's going to be new. We're going to have, let's talk about it with Dora. She will be on. I think we have one more coming. But if you want to do your own show, it's very easy to do. All you do is click this red button over on the right side. Click on the button. And if it stays up, you put your name in, your phone number. I want to know more about doing my own show on Trim Radio. How do I do it? Who do I talk to? What equipment do I need? Put that down. Put your email address on there. And you might want to put your cell phone number if you got one. And then all you have to do is scroll on down and hit send message, and somebody will get right back with you. Okay? That's all you have to do. And if you want to go ahead and join our Facebook page, and we'll get to that in a minute, all you have to do is put your name, your phone number, and say, hey, I want to join Stu's My World Facebook page. Here's my email address. Click on send message, and we'll get you on that list, okay? Very easy to do. Super easy. Hey, if I can do this show, anybody can do the show. Trust me. Wow, how do you support us? Well, there are a few ways you can do it. You can donate to keep us on the air because airtime is expensive, or you can advertise with us for all the shows or just one of the shows. It's your choice. Or you buy the merchandise, or as Michael Bejas always says, buy the merch. Buy the merch. So what do we have for merch? We've got t-shirts, we've got hats, we've got mugs. And I think they forgot to put the label facing the screen. But anyhow, it's Life Walk with Christ mug. Okay, then we've got the Money and Change t-shirts. You can get those. You can get the insulated mug, the travel mug. Hey, that's a good one. And we've also got ceramic mugs. We've got the Offside College Football Top 25 Premier Piquet shirts. We've got college football top 25 shirts too. Yeah, we do. And if you click on the number 2 button down here at the bottom, we've got kid t-shirts. We've got mugs. Boy, do we have mugs. We have mouse pads. You can't corner your mouse on a round mouse pad. Remember that. Hey, Trim Creators Dad Hat. Great thing. Okay? Support us. And that's how we can stay on the air, because the money that we get from people either advertising or donating or buying the merchandise, it goes to pay for airtime. And like I like to say, airtime ain't cheap. Okay? So help us out. Wow, what else is going on? Oh, the Trim Radio Network. Yes. Well, if I click on that, we've got My World, Live, Laugh, and Whatever. And that is our Facebook page. And if you take a look at the Facebook page, you notice that we have our little blurb for tonight with the data centers. And if you click on content, or comment rather, you're going to see all the different related videos that I've put up there today. And so you want to be in the know? Well, there you go. Just go to the page and take a look at this stuff, okay? Another thing is we will be on YouTube and Rumble after the show. And once it's uploaded to YouTube, I will post the link to the show, and you can go to our page and watch it, okay? Anytime you want. Big shout out to the University of Findlay. Check them out, www.findlay.edu. And your success is their priority. They say ours, but I'm saying it's their priority. It really is. Check them out. It's a 12-to-1 student to faculty ratio. They got over 4,700 students from 40 states and 41 countries. Ohio's 10 most affordable colleges from Money Magazine. Can't beat that. Best Midwestern College of 2025 from the Princeton Review. And we also have the Best Colleges in America 2024 Money Magazine. Check them out, www.findlay.edu. You can get bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, and doctoral degrees there. Check out the website, please. Also, we have Rusty Duck's Custom Pens and Blanks. If your club or you or a sorority, fraternity, business, whatever, and you want to make custom pens for presentations, contact Phil at Rusty Duck's Custom Pens and Blanks. He does a lot of great work. And, you know, if you go to his Facebook page, you can see a lot of his pens. And they're all over. And testimonials and whatever. So you can check that one out. Rusty Duck's Custom Pens and Blanks. Michael Bayhas and I both have those pens. And I'll tell you what, they're good. I love them. They're on the Cross Pen platform. Wow. Guess what? We've got a few minutes here before our guests come in. And I've got a video I think you might be interested in because it has to do with Musk and supercomputer concerns in Memphis, Tennessee. Watch this.
In Memphis, Elon Musk is making a play to control the future of artificial intelligence. His company, XAI, says it has built the biggest supercomputer in the world with lightning speed. Paul Young is the city's mayor.
It represents a tremendous opportunity, an opportunity for us to take our economy to the next level.
XAI says it will create $100 million in revenue and hundreds of jobs. But the digital future needs power, lots of it. These are the gas turbines fueling the supercomputer they call Colossus. They emit hazardous pollutants like formaldehyde and nitrogen oxides, according to the manufacturer.
Just over this fence, you can see and hear the turbines churning 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Without them, the data center does not function. What's not in dispute is the fact that they are polluting the air. What people don't know is how much of that pollution is reaching nearby communities.
Easter Knox lives 2 miles away.
You smelled it.
Yes, Lord.
Right away?
I sure did. Well, after they got situated, I started smelling it.
Knox lives in Boxtown, a mostly Black, low-income neighborhood in South Memphis.
The health department, they need to be ashamed.
Where industry has taken a toll for generations.
There's a lot of people out here that got medical problems like breathing issues.
Cancer risks here are 4 times higher than the national average. Cancer killed her father and other relatives, Knox tells us. Life expectancy here is 9 years less than the national average. Elon Musk's company is not to blame for those numbers, but that legacy and those turbines have triggered a backlash against XAI. A recent health department hearing turned into a shouting match. An executive from XAI ducking out a side door. The mayor says the city is hoping to start testing the air in the next 2 months.
Right now, there are people in that community that feel like they have been railroaded by XAI, that they weren't a part of the conversation when it was approved, and now they're bearing the brunt of its existence.
Well, I think it's important for us to have direct dialogue. I take their concerns deeply serious.
Among their concerns, the company is running the turbines without a permit. But the health department says that's okay for the first year. And after city officials said there were 15 turbines, environmental advocates released this thermal image. They say it shows twice that many active.
As soon as we saw the image, we called like, hey, we had a conversation. What's happening with these additional ones?
So they're not using those?
No, they're in idle mode in case they are needed.
XAI declined to be interviewed, but tells NBC News it is using pollution minimizing technology and working with public officials to stop relying on the turbines by the end of this year. XAI has also pledged to build a water treatment facility for the city.
Elected officials are working for and conspiring with industry in order to draw profits.
Community organizer Keyshawn Pearson has lived in South Memphis most of his life. He says he is skeptical XAI will create hundreds of jobs and doubts the mayor's promise that its tax dollars will be directed to improve these neighborhoods.
We don't want money in exchange for our lungs or in exchange for our lives. We want clean air. We want clean water, clean soil, just like everybody else.
XAI is already building a second supercomputer nearby, even bigger, that will need even more power, raising new questions and more anger among some residents, Lester.
Okay.
Wow. That's just part of it.
Stephanie, thank you. Thanks for watching.
Oh,
Stay
no.
updated about
What
breaking
happened?
news and top stories on the NBC News.
My goodness. That really messed things up, didn't it? Oh, my goodness. What is going on here? Somebody doesn't like me.
App or follow us on social media.
Somebody doesn't like me in this computer. Maybe it's AI. Who knows? Well, anyhow, guys, we have a couple of guests. And with that, of course, we have Riscala Stefan. And we also have Valerie. And I'll add her to the stage. I don't know if she's there. She is. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey, Stu.
Hey, there he is. There he is. Hey, we've got some stuff tonight to talk about on My World about artificial intelligence. I mean, you know, how long do you think that's been going on that we actually need data centers and artificial intelligence? What do you think? Risk?
What I have to say is probably people are not going to like what I have to say. The data centers, in my opinion, and the reading and research I've done on them, are eventually going to be a processing center for all the people around the world, more than likely, initially being the United States. But we will, and if we don't stop it, which I wish we could, but I don't think we will be able to, if we don't stop it, we're going to end up in a social credit system. And the social credit system is where people like me who have a loud mouth and speak out when we hear or see something that we don't think is right, people like me will be downgraded. And in the process of that downgrade, we will be limited to a variety of things, anything from food to living quarters. That's the end goal. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to happen in a year or 2 years. It's going to, if they get away with it and we don't stop it, it'll take a while. It may take 5 or 10 years, but that's the end goal. That's the reason they want all this data. You will notice that anytime that you're online, if you want the other day I wanted to get an insurance card on my car. I needed to give them my name, my address, my phone number, my zip code, just to get a quote on my car. And then what they do, that information, I'm sure people have heard of oil as black gold. That information is digital gold. It's every bit as valuable. It has as much salability as oil. And people are out there, back up, businesses are out there thriving for this information, and they pay top dollar. So the data centers that we're talking about, I believe inevitably are going to be a place where all of this information is kept. Go ahead, Valerie. I'm sorry.
You actually don't even have to do all that. You don't have to give all your information. Your phone is tracking literally every conversation that you have. I had a conversation with a family member about an illness, and between my email, my Facebook, my Instagram, I was blown away at the email, at the information traffic that came through about that very illness. And I have to be honest with you, the other night I was watching television. I don't watch a lot of TV. But I'm now beginning to wonder if commercials are being tailored based on conversations. And
Absolutely.
I say that because I was like, every commercial tonight has been about this one thing that I just had a conversation about.
How about the smart TVs for dumb people, right?
Well, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. All of this technology is going to blow up in our face. All of it, every bit of it. We have actually dumbed down our world. I had this conversation with a medical provider yesterday that was in their computer trying to access some information, and she's like, "Oh, hang on a minute, my computer's running slow." How many times do we hear that? My computer's running slow. And I said, if we go back to the old-fashioned way, humans are a lot faster than these computers. This is supposed to be speedy. This isn't speedy. It's crap. And then the next thing you hear from her is, "Hold on, I gotta reload my computer. It dropped off." And I was like, "You have to what?" And she says, "Oh, well, it just locked up. I have to go on ahead and I have to reload it." And I said, "That's fantastic." So I'm sitting there waiting for her to load it. She says, "It's going to take a few minutes. How about if I call you back?" Well, she never called me back. She's got all of this information on me, and her computer's crashing constantly. And I'm thinking, this is a problem. Well, today I actually talked to the person who had referred me to her. And I said, I don't want any of my business to go with this woman at Strive Medical. None. I don't want Strive Medical to have any business for me at all. Then you know what comes up on my Facebook page an hour later? Strive Medical.
Well, guess what? I was looking about getting a new TV for my living room. And I'm out looking at TVs, and I'm starting to read up on different types. And they're saying, watch out for this one because it has a camera hidden in it.
Right. Yep.
Or try this one. You can turn that camera off.
Yeah, good luck.
I'll tell you, you can't, if you have a Google phone, an Android phone, you cannot, on an Android phone, you cannot turn off any tracking whatsoever. On an Apple phone, you actually still can, but Apple is making it harder and harder to turn off on its phone too. I learned about an app today that I am looking at getting, and it's called the Freedom app. And you can actually turn off all internet access to your phone. So it just rings. You can ring and text, and that's it. It stops all of your apps from working otherwise. And I'm contemplating spending the money and putting it on my phone because, quite frankly, I'm tired. I'm not a dog. I am not chipped. I'm not a dog, and I'm sick and tired of being followed.
Well, I'll tell you what. I've got a device that I can put my phone in, and I disappear.
See you bye.
See you bye. I can put it in there and seal it up and take it with me wherever. When I want to use the phone, I pull it out and use it.
Faraday cage.
But you know what happens when you do that? You do realize that at that point, it then populates everything that you've done prior to without you realizing it. You do know that.
Of course.
You're right. Again, though, that's what they're collecting in all these data centers. They
Right.
want to collect every bit
Everything.
of information,
Everything.
each
Yep.
person, every algorithm, every
Yep.
medical, every dental,
Yep.
every thought that you have, every verse that you say, your faith, your political stand, your health care. I mean, literally every aspect of who you are, they want to collect. And at the end of the day, ain't nobody got time to recreate me. They don't need to recreate another one of me. There's enough of me in this world. They don't need another one of me, right? But my concern is that we did this to ourselves when we thought, oh, let's save our stuff to the cloud. I don't use the cloud. I will
Neither
never.
do I.
Now I have a lot of stuff saved in emails and like years, probably 20 years plus saved in emails. And I'm going through and starting to actually pull information, print off, and delete. It'll probably take me 10 years to do that. I'm also very particular about my email. I'm doing my best to avoid using Gmail. I don't think Google needs to Google me any more than they already have. So I'm doing my best to get rid of Google. I will never have an Android phone. And if Apple makes it to where I can't turn off my locator, then I'll ditch the Apple phone too and just not have a phone. I don't know. I'm over it. They don't need me. They don't need all my crap. They don't need all your crap. Print your
What about you, Rick?
Businesses and print your pictures out. Go to Walmart, print them out. And do me a favor, don't save them. When you go to Walmart to print your pictures, don't save them on their computer. And don't do it online where you have to save it online through their Walmart app. Just go there, take a flash drive, print it out. Don't save it. Because when you do that, you're creating data to save in a data center. And then they use your stuff without your permission. They don't pay you for it. And they create memes and ads and whatever else of you, your kids, your animals, your house. No, they don't need all that crap. And I could really
No, they don't.
That.
So, what do you think about it, Riscala?
You may have heard, you may not have heard, Gmail, Google is being held accountable for hundreds of millions of dollars in a class action lawsuit for people who have Gmail. It hasn't hit the public yet. I've only heard about it a couple of days ago. But anybody who, according to what I heard, anybody who has a Gmail account will have an opportunity to file a complaint, which I have a Gmail account. Valerie brings up some really good reasons why not to be tracked. And it's a personal thing. But the truth of the matter is, even if you don't carry a cell phone with you, there's still ways that they can track us. They have literally cameras everywhere. Around every corner, there's a camera. They have these traffic license plate reading cameras. I can't remember what they're called.
Block cameras.
Huh?
Block cameras. Did you not hear what happened in Troy, Ohio last week?
No.
Oh, so the flock cameras in Troy, Ohio alerted the city of Troy police to a 90-year-old man who had a warrant out for his arrest. They showed up at the Aldi grocery store and arrested a 90-year-old man and took him into jail in handcuffs in the middle of the Aldi parking lot for a property code violation that he had last year that had not been correctly managed. The charges were dropped against him, but they literally kept him in jail overnight.
Wow.
90 years old with a flock camera. Like, that's unconstitutional. Those suckers need to go.
Well, there's a lot of unconstitutional things that are occurring. And to me, it's exposing the corruption in our system. It's so deep and so vast and so wide. And more and more people I am seeing posting, they're not going to pay taxes. Until these people can get their act together, there's no point in paying taxes, because they, as well as I believe the same thing. If you're going to force me to pay you out of my income, out of whatever income, the sweat of my brow, maybe that's a better way to put it. If you're going to force me to pay you something off of the sweat of my brow, that is in fact slavery, and that is unconstitutional. However, if you're going to force me to do it and I follow through and do it, the least you could do is be responsible with whatever that money is, instead of fraudulently giving it away all over the place. It's not just Minnesota, Ohio, Florida, Texas, not just there. It's happening all over the place. It's just coming to light is what's happening. I have several friends of mine who are, I guess you could call them psychic, who have said 26 is going to be the year of exposure. It's going to be the year of, what is the word that they use? Maybe it was revelation. I'm not sure. Revealing. That's what it was. It's going to be the year of revealing all of the corruption that's happening. So I don't know if you heard, but today Trump was speaking at the WEF, and according to him, now, my patience is gone. I'm so frustrated. But anyway, according to him, the 2020 election was stolen, and those people are about to start paying the price.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in spades.
Well,
We'll
he
see.
backed off with wanting to take possession of Greenland by just going in and overthrowing their government. He
I
did back
did not like that.
said, I want to negotiate a plan of action with them. And I'm like, you don't need Greenland. You don't. We got enough problems within the 50 United States and the 5 territories we already own. We don't need Greenland. We need to be responsible with what we already have. And we need to abolish taxes as far as I'm concerned, because we have taxation without representation. Because
Yep.
there isn't anybody in the White House or in Washington, D.C. that's worth a pot to piss in. I'm done. All of them. We need term limits in the House and the Senate. And I really think at this point, to be the commander in chief, you should have had to served in the military, because these people don't have
Yeah.
to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, hey, what about artificial intelligence?
It's
What
only
about data centers?
who programmed it. I say that 100 times a day. It's only as smart as the idiot who programmed it.
I got to
Exactly.
disagree, Valerie. It has reached a point where the people who the grandfather of all of this has admitted that it is it will be a very short time. I think it's months before it's smarter than humans are smarter. AI is an extremely dangerous tool. It's kind of like a loaded gun. It depends upon whose hand is around that weapon. AI can be our friend or can be our worst enemy. I read this article. I think it was the Google AI. I may be mistaken about that particular, but it was an AI that the programmers were wanting to do some hardware updates, and they told it to shut down. It would not shut down. There was another report of, again, I think it was Google. The AI, they found that the AI was communicating with other AIs in its own language, which they cannot interpret yet. They haven't figured out.
I saw
So,
that. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's really scary.
Yeah.
That's really scary. You were talking about that it wouldn't shut down. My girlfriend was here the other day visiting, and I told her, I said, before we continue the conversation that we're on, I want everybody to shut their phones off. And everybody could shut their phones off, but her Android phone would not shut off. So she's like pushing the buttons and trying to turn it off, and it's giving her errors. And then she talks to it and she says, please shut off. And it comes back and it says unable to process request.
Stick them in the microwave.
Would not shut off.
Stick them in the microwave, Valerie. If you have a problem with if somebody might be listening, stick the phones in the microwave. You don't have to turn them off. They're not going to. If it's a good microwave, it provides a Faraday cage, and nothing's going to come out. Nothing's going to go in.
I just told her sit on it. I didn't care. Just sit on it. Put it under your butt. Fart a little bit.
Jeez.
Maybe
clean it up, Valerie. Clean it up.
AI will start smell-o-vision.
Clean it up, Valerie. Clean it up.
I mean, what do you say? This is the kind of stuff that really is very frustrating to me. And she's very tech savvy, and she is not on her phone all day long or anything like that. But she literally went home that night, still could not shut the phone off. It would not shut off.
I have that problem with my Android sometimes, and there's a little thing on my Samsung phone, and I forget what they call it, but you talk to it and it will do things when it wants to.
Right. When it wants
to. That's why I don't want to buy a Samsung TV.
Yeah.
So anyhow, go ahead.
Wait a minute, Stu. Before you move on, regarding the Samsung TV, you may be aware or you may not be aware. About, maybe 8 years ago now, Samsung came out with. I'm not sure about how long ago it was, because time is a blur to me at this point in my life. But Samsung came out with a public notice, and the public notice was, be careful what you say or do in front of any of our smart TVs, because our units can be turned on remotely.
Yes, I remember that.
Yep, you have to watch
I,
out.
I failed to add one part. If it's plugged in to now it's probably wireless, but back then they said if it was plugged in to your network, then be careful what you say and do in front of your TV because it's going to be remotely turned on.
Gonna say dish satellite TV. We got a notification. We get an annual report update that tells us that.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I could just ditch it all, I would. And it's hard. It's very
It's not
hard.
good for us. I can tell you that. The frequencies that come out of these things, not good for us. The frequency comes out of the monitor is not good for you.
Speaking
frequency-
of frequencies, did you hear about the smart meter situation on your houses? This one blew
Yeah.
my.
Yeah.
Well, the smart meters, if you have a smart meter for gas and electric on your home and you have a fire, and these are actually attached to your house, and you have a fire, the insurance company has to assess how close to those meters that the fire occurred. If it occurred because of the meter,
Which it
they will
has.
not, they will not pay out an insurance claim.
Yeah, the meters have caused fires.
That's crazy to me.
The meters.
Mine's on a pole, but I can sit in my house. I have a monitor that I can check the radiation coming off of it. I can sit in my house, and it is probably 15, 20 feet from my house. It's on a pole, and I can get the frequency off of it.
You can get metallized polyester, and if you don't want to paint your wall with lead, one of the reasons they banned lead paint, you can get metallized polyester and it looks like a mirror, and you just lay it up on the back of the wall wherever the meter is at, and that'll reduce it quite a bit.
You mean
What?
it's outside? It's not inside.
Yeah, but it's coming in right through the wall.
Yeah.
Well, that is true. So I'd have to put it up behind my siding then.
Actually, I think what we ought to do is just have Mylar suits and walk around in Mylar.
I mean,
I mean, whatever. Hey guys,
that from the Jetsons, though.
well, yeah, why not?
That's the other thing that blows my mind. I think back to cartoons in the 60s and 70s, and we're living that today.
We're missing the cars. We're missing the.
No, that flying car, they just had one. It just flew like 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
It's not.
It's the Jetsons.
Hey,
I've seen some of them, but they look really funky. They look like a combination of an airplane and a car.
they've
Yeah.
had flying cars for probably the last 20 years, and nobody's really paid attention to it until they get on I-75 or I-80 or I-71, and they see a blur go by. Okay. Somebody stole. I was on the interstate several months back, and I'm driving along, and all of a sudden a car passes me on the berm, and I was doing 65. He passed me at over 90,
Oh my gosh.
and about 10 or 15 seconds later, here comes a state patrol car over on the left-hand side of the interstate chasing a stolen car. It was a flying car. Trust me, it was a flying. One was the flying tire salesman, and the other one was the person driving the car. Well, anyhow, guys, these data centers, and we're going to have one north of us in Sydney, Ohio. Then we're going to have one in Piqua, Ohio.
3.
And
3 in Sydney.
Eventually.
And 4 in Piqua.
Eventually.
3 in Springfield.
Eventually.
Holy smokes!
And I don't know what the number has come out to for Dayton so far.
And all of us are moving out to Utah, where they don't have anything out in the desert. But anyhow, when you take a look at what those data centers are going to do, we had the video at the beginning about the power requirements and the jet generators and so forth. That's going to be a big one. And your utility needs with your water and everything. And what they do, these companies come in and they dangle carrots called money. And they basically say, look, we'll give your schools $1 million a year for the next 15 years if you let us build a data center. Or they say, if you give us a tax abatement, we will bring enough people in where you can have houses and other employment and so forth. And they're trying every which way to get you in there. And they've done it north of us. They've done it basically here and elsewhere, but they don't tell you about the utility usages and how the utilities go up and up and up. And in our case, we get our power from American Municipal Power. And that comes out off of one thing. And we buy additional power from JPM, which is over in Niagara Falls. And they provide power for most of the eastern seaboard. Now, AES is going to bring a dedicated line into Pickwood to a substation, and then that's going to power the data center. So we won't have to do anything except provide the construction power. And then past that point, AES is going to handle the power for that data center because they say that they can handle that. But then the water usage to cool everything. Up in Sydney, they are going to use wells. Okay, so they're going to use wells to cool everything down. Well, guess what? What does that do to the groundwater? And here they're going to use water from the Miami River, the Great Miami River. So if they go ahead and use that, some of that's going to evaporate, and what's going to go back in the river, you know? And
so I was actually at the meeting for the data center here in Pickwick. And it is a closed loop. The first one being built, 608 acres, is a closed loop system. In the original contract, it did have that they were going to dig a well. That did get discussed, and that is supposed to be taken out, that they would not need to build a well. They are going to tap into the 3 water towers that currently exist, and then they're going to build a 4th one in the country on some farmland that belongs to some friends of mine without their permission, without their support. They tried the eminent domain thing. It's not going to work. It's not going to fly, which is really good. However, my concern is we have this little scientific phenomena called hydrostatic pressure, and it works both in and out. So if we build these monsters and we start sucking the groundwater, we start sucking the water from the river, we start a vacuum, what does that do to the people that live on wells around that property? Ultimately, they're going to collapse. And I'm not going to lie, I'm concerned about that for myself, because even though I am, 6 miles from where the data center is going to be at, it's still going to pull that pressure from the aquifer. And our area of Ohio has the best aquifer in the country. Now, the data center says that they're going to draw the water in, and they're only going to return 20% of it a day. Now, I don't know about you guys, but we don't have an infinite amount of water. And they say, well, you'll get rain, it'll replenish. It's not a big deal. We've got plenty of water. What did you say? 40 million gallons of water runs down the Miami River a day. Right. Has anybody looked at the Miami Creek? Because it's not a river anymore. It's a creek. We've dropped dams. We've dropped spill wells. We've changed the lay of the land. The water is drying up. It's not there. Indian Lake, which is the reservoir where the Miami River starts, had to take boats out in September because it was too shallow. And the spill well, when it gets down so low, the lake gets down so low, you don't have any more water coming off the lake. I actually posed this question on an Indian Lake page recently on Facebook. What do you guys know about these data centers coming in south of you? Are you aware of them? And what do you think that's going to do to the economics of the Indian Lake tourist area? Because it's a very popular lake and a lot of people live there. Actually, several very wealthy families live there. what does that look like for the lake? And these people were not even aware it was coming, that these were coming. Some of them are saying it won't affect the lake at all. You just won't get any water out of the lake for the river. It'll all be lower than the spill well. But they don't realize is that hydrostatic pressure. That's a man-made lake. They're still drawing the water from underneath the lake, the groundwater underneath the lake and around the lake. They don't realize the vacuum that all of these data centers downriver is going to have on their property, on their lake. And I'll tell you, the Great Lakes, Michigan's already talking about it. The Great Lakes have already started to see a reduction in the volume of water in the lakes since they've started mass producing data centers up there. A couple of communities have already said no more. They've put more moratoriums up. One community, I'll have to get the name of the school, but there's one school up there that the data center that was built there has taken so much water, creates so much noise and so much pollution that the students no longer go to school in a traditional environment. They're at home e-learning.
Wow.
Now that's tragic.
So the purpose of the water is what? To cool everything down?
Cool it,
Right.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well then they should be required to provide refrigeration. Forget the water. Refrigerate it so that
they are providing refrigeration. The problem is that the refrigeration is insufficient. The water is insufficient because they are so hot. They are super, super hot facilities. You know, my daughter made a great observation. She said, you know, there's caves here in Lucasville, Ohio, where they used to store film underground. Why can't we build these data centers underground where we don't have to worry about cooling them? Well, you know, I got to thinking about it and how hot they are, and what would we be doing? We would be heating up the core of the earth. That's not good either.
you think it's that hot? It would be heating up the core, do you?
They are really that hot. They are
Wow.
really like they are hotter than nuclear power plants hot.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. People don't realize that. And you know, Stu, you were mentioning them coming here to Piqua. I will never, and the money, I will never forget that night because the attorney that is representing the deal between the city of Piqua and the data center, which I really firmly believe is a way big conflict of interest, had sent a letter to our city economic developer telling him that we needed to convince the city commission to waive the 3 reading rule. We needed to make it an emergency resolution and emergency ordinances and get it passed that night so that we could keep peace within the community and so that, you know, we could move ahead and we could take good care of people. They are only giving Piqua City Schools $100,000 a year, which will be swallowed up in no time in utility costs. And they're giving the city of Piqua money each year. They are getting a 30-year tax abatement, and the data center is only slated to be viable for 20 to 25 years. So it's going to be out of business before the tax abatement is even up. But the young man really ticked me off. Like, he pushed my buttons to the nth degree when he heard the pushback from the community. He stood up in front of everybody at the podium and he said, listen, guys, it's only $1 billion deal. There are a lot of communities that want this deal. We are more than happy to go elsewhere if you don't want it. And I thought, you know what? If I were the city commissioner right then and there, the mayor of the city, I would have said, you can take your $1 billion deal and take it right on down the road. We don't need your money here. Because
Kick hands, buddy.
when you're posturing like that,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
you've got a problem. You've got a problem. But this same exact law firm represented a disastrous, toxic environment here in Piqua. They represented a deal for lithium ion battery burning and testing. And so the residents here are obviously hyper vigilant about what's coming and what's going on. The unfortunate part is no matter how much electricity you put on these data centers, they still need to burn diesel generators every day because the grid nationwide cannot handle the volume of electricity that has to be pumped through these buildings.
When it comes, go ahead, Stu.
You know what's going to really be bad is this weekend. We're supposed to get all this ice and snow now.
Yeah.
Rascala, up in Cleveland, you're used to snow.
Yeah.
Okay. But this is down south, and we're talking Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma.
Freezing rain.
They're supposed to have the possibility of a whole inch of ice on everything, which means your power's going to go out and everything else. And now it's started to arc up towards Tennessee and Kentucky, and that will cause a mess there. And then from there, some of the predictions I've seen, it's going to go ahead and curve on up, and you'll get a nor'eastern up in Massachusetts and Vermont and so forth. And it could be
possible blizzard.
Yeah, horrendous. And so I told people at the beginning of the show, you better start preparing. And if you don't, you're going to be in trouble. Make sure you've got water, make sure you've got extra food, make sure you've got some way to heat the house, make sure you've got batteries, make sure you have some type of a generator and so forth. And I keep pushing on the show. And Rascala, you said you just got one. Well, GMRS radios. I'm a big proponent of those because you can get out, you can talk to your family, you can talk to other people in an emergency when everything's down. And that's what's important. And I mentioned that to Val earlier in the week about that. And
Stu, we have our radios charged, but we got a boat battery, and we got an inverter so that we're able to charge them beyond that. So I mean, we're going to be good on that. You know, my takeaway from all of this is always have to have alternative fuel sources and alternative measures to be able to communicate. Obviously, it is also so important that people have adequate supply of food and water. You want to have a minimum of 5 days of food and water times each person in your home.
3 gallons per person per day minimum.
Yep. And you want to also make sure that you get your prescription medications refilled now. Do not wait until Friday or Saturday to try to get them filled. If you need medication refills, get them done now. Don't wait. Everybody's going to rush to the supermarket to get their milk and their bread. At the end of the day, milk and bread isn't going to be saving your life. Your medications, your water, high protein foods. So you want to have things like peanut butter, right? Nuts, any kind of nuts, pumpkin seeds, those kind of things. High protein items, because protein will provide you energy and will provide you heat in your body. Just so important, and people don't realize that. They really don't. So yeah.
Rascala, what type of radios did you get?
I got I'd have to go look it up. It's a well-known name. It's a big name.
Midland?
Come on, huh?
Midland
Radio. That's it. Yeah, I couldn't think of the name for the life of me.
I've got some Baofangs, and I've got B-Tech, which is basically Baofeng radios, and I've got a 50-watt B-Tech Pro 50, and I've got a Redivus, and I can
great. I haven't got mine yet. I just ordered them. They haven't come in yet.
Hopefully you get them, but I'll tell you what, this weather that's coming on, we got to worry about what's going on, and hopefully it stays to the south of us. But they were saying a foot of snow in Cincinnati.
Wow!
And
I just heard that the snow forecast has moved our direction. So,
that's going to be great.
Yeah. I think I heard 5 inches for us.
Hey, 5 is better than a foot. Okay.
I'd rather see 0, but that's me.
Well, hey, just your luck. All you do is get lake effect. And
I know. Yeah.
I've witnessed lake effect one time because it was raining in Cleveland one time. I had to leave and go back to my office in Columbus. And then I had to turn around and drive back up to University Circle on the following Monday. And I got this phone call from my trainer up there, and she says, "Don't come up here because we've got 54 inches of snow."
Holy crap.
And I thought, 54 inches? Come on, you got to be kidding me, Judy. And she said, "No." Well, okay. So I waited. I called back on Wednesday, and they said, "Our center is closed. You can't do any training up here. We've had alternative housing for everybody in the program, and we'll see you next week." So I go up there on the following Monday, and the closer I get to Cleveland, it was on Chester Avenue, and you had to crawl through the intersections despite the lights turning green and so forth, because you couldn't see on either side of you because the snow was piled so deep.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
At 54 inches of snow. And I said, man, I hope I can get to my hotel and I have a place to park, because I was out in Richland Heights. And it was a trip. It really was. So, everybody, word to the wise, prepare like crazy. And if you haven't started, you better start now. Hey, guys, with that, we got to bail out of here. Do we want to do a part 2 next week?
I mean, I'm game.
Yeah, I may not be able to make it next week. Typically Wednesday nights, I'm a chat moderator in a chat room for one of my friends.
Oh, well, you're chatting right now.
Yeah, it runs from 8 to 10.
Okay, we'll end up doing probably another show next week based on some more information on the artificial intelligence and data centers. And we've got that on our Facebook page, so check it out, guys. We have to bail out of here because if I'm not on time, oh boy, we get in trouble. With that, guys, thanks for coming in. Thanks for joining us. Check out our Facebook page, and we will post the recording of this show on YouTube and Rumble up on the internet. Talk to you later. Thanks, guys. Love you.
Good night.
Night.
In a world drowning in noise, where truth is often buried beneath layers of propaganda and misinformation, there's a need for a different kind of a network of creators that cuts through the clutter, that doesn't shy away from tough topics, and that delivers the unfiltered truth. We are Trim Radio Network. We are creators, we are innovators, we are investigators. We're the ones who aren't afraid to call a spade a spade. If you're ready to participate in thought-provoking discussions, informational topics, and of course today's biggest headlines, subscribe to our YouTube channel today. We're Trim Radio Network. We're cutting the bull and serving the truth.